And we good. We are gonna be so this episode is gonna be like on the podcast platforms, and it's gonna be I'm gonna post a video probably on my YouTube and Instagram TV or whatever, which is why I made sure I was halfway decent. I got this ring light in here making my skin look oily. It's fine though. It's
Hold on, wait. It's getting like on the internet. Okay, let me go get my ring light too because I got a haircut for a reason. Hold on.
This is going in the motherfucking blooper reel for sure.
He's got a haircut. I know that's right.
Listen, girl, I'm glad I had me one. That's why I was
like. That's why I keep trying to hide. I keep trying to hide my fingernails because I'm missing two.
No, but they look cute. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I need to feel. Listen, I'm a businesswoman. Okay.
Period. Come on.
No Coil Ray.
Not no Coil Ray.
No Coil Ray. That poor baby. Ooh, child. Oh, this is going to be such a fun episode, guys. This is how I wanted to end the season with some educational, positive Black excellence, but also some ratchet shit. Just
looking forward to it. Yeah,
just a hodgepodge of
you rang and I deliver every time.
You say that like we ain't seen each other twice in the last 72 hours, girl.
Yeah, it's the ring light for me. Period.
It's the glow. Come on,
it's on. The light is on. Yes.
I'm fucking dead. Is this bitch recording? Okay. Oh, okay. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the MalikWorld podcast. This is our season 1 finale because your boy got to take a break and go get some other bags. But I will be back because y'all have shown me so much love. And with that being said, this episode is super special because I got some friends of mine, both new and old, and we're going to talk about one of the most important topics in the Black community, and that is HBCUs. Now, before we get started too much, everybody got on their college gear, so we repping. So we're going to go around the room. Everybody speak when you feel like it, and tell them who you are, where you from, where you went, what you repping, and what you do. We'll start with ladies first. Come on, Yasmin.
Oh, always. No. Hi, I'm Yaasameen. I went to Falcon College, a very small HBCU in Dallas, Texas. I majored in communications, and I'm a full-time entrepreneur. I run an online boutique as well as other creative endeavors.
Oh.
All righty. Go ahead, Spencer. Oh, Air Class, yeah.
Yes. Hi, I'm Spencer. I go to Howard University, the real HU. We'll get into that. But I study international business, and right now I am a full-time freelancer in the TV and film industry.
All right, come on, Myles.
Hey, what's up? I'm Myles T. I am from Houston, Texas. I graduated from the Southern University Agriculture and Mechanical College in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, with a Bachelor of Science in Psychology. So, I know how to blow stuff up in my mind. And your boy currently is a COVID-19 mental health support line responder in the city of Houston. So I provide emotional support to everyone who is in need of it during this pandemic statewide, as well as I'm also a model, actor, dancer, YouTuber, all that, blah, 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 blah. Just really that dude out here and trying to make it happen for himself.
Period. All that.
We love it. Saving lives, yes.
We here for it. And as the listeners and viewers already know, I went to Howard. Now, I didn't graduate from Howard before we even get started, but I ain't never done no fuck shit. So once a bison, always a bison. And, actor, singer, songwriter, podcaster, jack of all trades in media, we get into the money. Okay, so for people at home who may not know, HBCUs are historically Black colleges and universities. There are currently 101, I believe. At the peak, there was like 123, but a lot of them have been lost to history or have merged with other HBCUs. A lot of them were started after the Civil War, essentially to train a lot of Black folks to either be ministers or be in the service industry, which, while problematic in some aspects, HBCUs have become a breeding ground for Black excellence, and that's what we're going to focus on today. That's what we're going to talk about. So, I want to ask everybody, how did you find out about your HBCU? And we'll just, the way my screen is set up, we're going to start with Myles and then Yasmin and then Spencer.
Okay. So I found my HBCU because both of my parents went to Southern University. That's where they met. That's where they fell in love. My mom, she had me while she was doing her master's degree. And so growing up, I've always known about Southern University. Both my aunts worked there, my uncles worked there. So it's just really a family oriented school. So I knew at a young age that I was going to go to Southern, and that's the only school I applied for.
Oh, we lost Yaz.
I love that energy. Give me 1 second. Yasmin just left the meeting. Hold on.
Well,
It's
HBCU
from the
love.
heart. It's
I'm a
from the
little
heart.
jealous. I know, right?
Okay.
Hold on. We waiting on Yaz. Oh, she gonna make it all pain for me to edit, child. Oh, okay. Give her like 2 seconds. I want her back in the chat. Love that answer. Okay, you back?
Yes, my phone got too hot. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. A lot of stuff is gonna be edited down. But we like the ratchet though, so it's
No, the
appreciative.
ghetto.
Alrighty, so Yazzie, tell the people, how did you find out about your HBCU?
I found out about Parkland because they came to Everman, actually. A recruiter came and was talking to us about it, and I'd never heard of Parkland College. So I was just like, oh, cool. And then he came back, and I got like admitted on the spot and all this other stuff and all these scholarships. So that's how I found out about it.
Alrighty, and what about you, Spencer?
Well, my story's a little different because I was planning to apply to like Ivy League school, like one of those big state schools. I went to a private school. So Howard really came up was when my guidance counselor was like, "Oh, just apply to this big known HBCU known as Howard. I know you'll get in, but just apply." And after I did that, I really like sat down and like contemplated, like, yeah, I don't want to go to a pretentious white school, kind of be the only black and toe person. And I'm so glad I chose Howard. So that's kind of like my story.
Okay, I'm here for it. So I chose Howard because it really was the only option after we toured the school. So I ain't know nothing about Howard until my freshman year of high school. The church did like a trip to DC where we toured like 6 colleges, and we toured Georgetown right before Howard, and I was like, "This is Hogwarts. It smells gross. I don't like it. I feel like somebody could have summoned a spell." But then we went to Howard, and we went to Howard, and it was giving drumline. It was giving a different world, just touring the campus. So I was like, "Oh, this is a vibe." And then once it came time to apply to schools, when Howard was actually the only HBCU I applied to, because I applied to a whole bunch of schools all far away. So I was like, I'm not.
Wow.
I applied to U of H, Poli-Sci in Cali, Howard, and then UNT was the couple school I applied to. And once Howard was like, "We got you," I was like, "Oh, bet I'm coming there because DC is lit." And then just being around Black excellence. So yeah, that's how that happened. Alrighty, so why did you go to your HBCU? Like, give us the reason, give us the tea. Be honest. Spencer, you already touched a little bit on it. So did you, Myles, and so did you, Yazzie. But go into a little more detail about why.
Who's going first?
You can go first.
Okay. So I actually did not want to go to my HBCU. So I was the complete opposite of you, Malik. I only applied to HBCUs since I was a child. Like when I was a little kid, I wanted to go to like Princeton or whatever. But when I got some sense, I realized that I only wanted to go to HBCUs. So that's all I applied to. And I only toured Parkland College. No, I would toured that one. Yeah, I only toured Paul Quinn. And so when I went, I was like, absolutely not. Like, I'm not going here. No, this is not how I imagined my college campus because I didn't tour then when I applied, but I toured FAMU a couple of years prior. So like I know what HBCU campus is supposed to look like. So I'm like, no. So we're talking to people, and Paul Quinn's very cheap. And I had just moved to Texas a year and a half prior. So I'm like, okay, all these other schools are way far. This one's 45 minutes to home because I still don't know, like I'm not from here. So it's not like I need to get away from a place I just moved to. And it was the cheapest. And so I was like, well, I'm going to go for their summer program. If I like it, I'm going to stay. If not, because I got accepted into Dillard, Xavier, all these other amazing schools. So I'm like, if I don't like it, I'm going to just transfer. But I stayed. So I get
All right, go ahead, Myles.
Okay, so I'm originally from Louisiana. I was born in Baton Rouge, and me and my family, we moved to Texas in 2000. So my big reason for wanting to go to Southern is because I wanted to have that experience of what it was like to live in Louisiana, since I missed out on all those years growing up. So that was a big thing for me. And also, too, I wanted to be a part of the Southern University Human Jukebox. So I had auditioned for the band. I played the trumpet. I had audition, I got in, and that was a big reason why I also wanted to go to Southern too. So that was my origin.
Oh,
We love
wow.
it.
Nice.
We love it. Come on, Spencer.
Well, I never mentioned this in the beginning, but I'm from New Jersey. So I was sick of New Jersey. I was sick of the suburbs. So I was like, I want to go somewhere new. I'm usually used to like the cities, East Coast cities, but I wanted something different. So when I toured Howard and all the other colleges I applied to on the East Coast, I just felt like this different feeling when I stepped on campus and I was meeting all these beautiful Black people. And I really noticed that I didn't have the true Black experience, and I didn't really grow up around majority Black people in my education, whether they were teachers, whether they were friends of mine. So Howard was like the ultimate decision for me. And then I was thinking long term because back then, probably 5 years ago, I wanted to be like a diplomat. I wanted to be in the international space. I'm like, oh, DC is perfect because it's the capital, and it exposed me to all that. But life has changed. But I'm still so glad that I chose Howard. And it's the epitome of all HBCUs. I'm not gonna lie, but I always represent. I always represent any HBCU, because I think all of them are important. They definitely need to be heard and talked about for sure.
I feel that. So one of the reasons I chose Howard, first of all, when we toured Howard, like I said, it was giving drumline, it was giving family. And then we toured UNT and University of Houston, like the week when I flew back home. And it was very much, you're just a number here. And I didn't like that feeling at all. And then when we got to the conversation of, oh, what school you think about going to senior year? And I was like, oh, I'm thinking about Howard. Spencer, you know this. When you say Howard, when you wear Howard gear out, people know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's the HBCU that's like in the public eye the most, right? So plus at the time I was thinking about going to school for either hospitality management or musical theater, both of which Howard breeds excellence in those categories. Yeah. So disclaimer, because we got two people on the side rolling the eye.
No, I wasn't.
It's okay.
I was.
Yep.
It's okay. No, because I wrote it in my notes. So all HBCUs are very important and very necessary. Want to start with that disclaimer. And I also wanted people from other HBCUs on this episode for that very reason, because Howard has a bit of a stereotype of us being a little bit of elitist, which is not an incorrect stereotype, but all HBCUs are super important. And I think it's just Howard consistently breeds people in the public eye. And I think that's one of the reasons why it gets so much energy all the time. Like some politician or CEO or entertainer is always coming out of Howard consistently. That's the only reason I think we get so much love in that area. And that's going to be my PC version that I'm going to say for this episode. Because we ain't starting the HBCU wars on Twitter. We're not doing that today. Okay. I'm dead. Okay, so now we're talking about HBCUs being a breeding ground for Black excellence, and we can get into that a little bit, but I wanted to start off with shenanigans. So,
oh Lord, Jesus.
So we're just talking about shenanigans in terms of what issues did you have to deal with going to an HBCU, whether it was pushback from friends or family, or like people in a professional space, or once you got there and something wasn't up to par. Like, what was that like? And we'll start off with Myles on that one.
Okay, so I really didn't have a bad experience at Southern because, again, Southern is very family oriented, and I had an aunt that worked on campus, and I didn't know my aunt was a little bully. So she was getting folks together sometimes if it was like for my betterment that I was very appreciative of. So I didn't have like any kind of run-ins really with just faculty or administration like that. I just think stuff that was really challenging at times we're just Southern doesn't have that much financial resources as people would think. And so when I first went onto campus and I just saw like how the classrooms were looking, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to here. Oh. And it was too late because, like I said, that's the only school I applied for. That's the only school I wanted to go to. So I was like, I guess I need to suck it up. But as years kind of went on, you just saw how like budget cuts were a thing. Just facilities wasn't all that. We just recently had a scandal where my former band director is now going to federal prison because of like I want to say it was a kickbacks with like money problems, just taking all of that, which I really didn't see it as a big thing at a time, but I could see how it is now when you put the law into place. So that's just really a big concern, and it kind of just affected everyone from the top on down.
Okay, Spencer, go ahead and speak on some Howard Shanann.
Well, I'll start with just all HBCUs because it kind of said that we have the lack of funding, lack of resources. There's always a problem with housing. There's always a problem with administration. There's always, a scandal or two, or, something that just really gets in the eye. But for me, my Howard experience, I think it was most common, like other students, just really struggling to make sure that I was financially sound, whether that was just like pulling out a loan every year because, Howard's a lot of money, or even just trying to secure housing, like a roof over my head, and having that be a whole like just episode in and of itself. So those are like kind of the two things. And then throughout the years, moving up my undergrad matriculation, it was becoming easier to like kind of know the routine, kind of know who to talk to, or like kind of know how to handle certain things before waiting the last minute. Because, us Black people, we love CP time and all that jazz, and always trying to give us the in and outs. But yeah, that was kind of like my experience in a nutshell.
Okay, Yaasameen, go ahead.
Yeah.
So my experience kind of started weird because no one in like my administrative world, like in my high school, wanted me to go to Paul Quinn. Paul Quinn had issues with accreditation, like years back, and so they were accredited, but they weren't accredited by the like biggest accreditation that most schools are accredited by. So just all these other issues, and so like they were just telling me that I was basically wasting my life going there. It's basically what they were telling me. Like they don't have the resources, they don't have any of these things. And I went and I visited, and then like I'm a huge researcher, so I like this is gonna make me sound so crazy, but I would search like the Paul Quinn hashtag, and I would find students that went there, and I would message them and be like, "Listen, I'm trying to go here, but I'm hearing X, Y, and Z. Like, tell me what's T. Like, tell me what's really going on at the school." And so, yeah, so I did all that, and I ended up deciding to go there. And just being there, like everyone else has stated, is just like lack of resources. We're extremely small HBCU, so it's just like, and we're a private institution as well. And so when I got there, we had one dormitory, we had one building where our classes are, we have a second building that's the student activity center, and we have one gym and a library. Like, and we're on 100 and something plus acres of land, but like that's it. You have the same building for all your classes. Like it's just very normal, very the bare necessities almost in a sense. But I honestly wouldn't trade my experience for the world because the things that I got in return of the lack of resources, it all balanced out. So
I love that. Howard had some shenanigans, but overall, I do think it was worth it. And I think Myles touched on this earlier. It's like all HBCUs have a lack of funding somewhere, and that usually kind of breeds all the problems. Spencer, you probably remember this when we had sewage in our bathtub that time. And I was outside in a tank top in 20-degree weather on the phone with my mama at 1 a.m. I'm like, I'm going to go off on somebody. That right there, woo. And then, the typical stuff like administration, financial aid, either being hella rude or not responding, or you happen to wait, like sleep on the floor and shit for hours to register for a class or get housing or figure out where your money is for scholarships, book vouchers, things of that nature. But I think a lot of that has to do with more so a lack of funds. I do think, it's a certain generation of HBCU grads that are like, the struggle builds character. Yes, but we shouldn't have to put up with shit. Like, but nonetheless,
yeah.
but hopefully as things evolve and more money comes in, things will that kind of stuff will get better. All right, let's flip the script. No more sad shit. That's what we get in this whole podcast. What were the benefits from a professional and personal perspective of going to your HBCU? Whoever want to go first, whoever start talking, just go. You know.
I could start. Being in the School of Business and really knowing what I wanted to do, Howard has really given me the resources to really move into my career. And I mean more specifically because I wanted to be a diplomat. I wanted to move into the government space, and just being in a city like DC was just the perfect combination, and really giving me the opportunity to feel out what I wanted to do. Corporate companies would always come in, or even having the ability to use the city at my disposal if I wanted to, and network with someone and visit their office, or really getting in connections with the alumni society or alumni association in my School of Business, and being yeah, we have someone successful in this kind of field. Would you like to talk to them? And that kind of really did change. It kind of did change my trajectory of what I saw myself doing as a salaried employee, or even just doing a little bit more on the creative side that I wanted to do. But Howard just really set it up for me quite well. So.
All right. Love that answer.
Now, for me, Southern really didn't prepare me in my field like that. They used to have career fairs every year, every semester, but they really were catered to the people who were STEM majors. So the folks who were in psychology, we had to have our own kind of career fairs, which weren't much. It was just mainly talking about going to grad schools. And once I decided that I didn't want to go to grad school anymore, I kind of was oh, well, I'm out here, hey, chilling. And so the job I got now, I got that off of just me and my experience just working in the field.
Okay,
so
okay.
That's that.
So even though Parkland is very, very small, we I guess rubbed elbows with a lot of people, especially I guess the big wigs in Dallas. Our president has a lot of connections, and so since day one at Parkland, I've always been able to connect and network with a lot of people in different fields in the city of Dallas. And then it's one of our state representatives is an alum, and so we always meet her, and just all these other people. And so if I was wanting to continue in the corporate world and continue on that trajectory, I would be able to use my connections a lot more. But since I'm pretty much all just creative based, I don't really have that many. But I mean, I learned so much about being a professional and even about owning a business by going to my HBCU, just because of all the knowledge and stuff. We would always have some type of mandatory event that in the moment we hated, but it honestly bettered us as people and as professionals. And just, I've met so many celebrities going to Parkland. I've had so many opportunities to talk to people who normally I wouldn't be able to talk to, and who I normally wouldn't be able to ask questions to about certain events. I've worked for multiple celebrities because of being there and just connecting with them. So all in all, Parkland kind of looked out for me.
We love to see it, child. Well, Howard, I learned more in the year I did at Howard than I had 18 years prior. And that's wild to me because I've always been a smart kid. That's never been really the issue. But first of all, I learned how to talk to people and get out of my comfort zone and network. And then it helped me figure out what I wanted to do, because Howard School of Business has this thing called a 21st Century Cap program. I don't know if they still have it, but essentially, without explaining it too much, it's a group internship your freshman year with a corporate sponsor, right? So that in itself is wild in terms of preparing somebody who wants to go into business for the world. But I realized, because my team or whatever, I think our sponsor was Dun & Bradstreet out of New Jersey. And the only thing I like to do during the whole thing was the presentations. They voted me the leader, and they was you do all the presentations. You need to lead them. And I was well, shit, I'm just up here acting on the pool. So I mean, this is what I need to be doing anyway. So that's what Howard taught me that. And then, like I said, just being around positive Black influences. Me and Yaasameen went to the same high school, and she came a little bit later in the high school experience, but it was weird because our high school was not necessarily entirely the hood, but it wasn't also like upper crusty. You know what I mean?
It's very middle class.
Very middle class, but like very, very middle class in a way where it's like if you have bigger dreams or something outside the box, people looking at you crazy. You know, so going to Howard, I was like, oh my God, like all these people want to be politicians, all these people want to be millionaires, all these people want to be artists, and they actually doing the shit. And, you know, that really inspired me. And then being in DC is lit because, like, you know, we from the South, and the South is, if you're born in, some people like it, some people don't. I'm going to leave it at that. But being in a big city, like a East Coast city, is a different vibe. Like when your school is like 3 subway stops from the White House, like, you know, like that's a different type of experience. So yeah, that's Howard was lit in that aspect, you know, breeding ground for Black excellence, like everybody's HBCU, like I said. So we're gonna talk about some fun shit. Everybody got their liquor?
Yes.
Right
here.
Okay. So now we're gonna get into the party stuff. Okay, now we're gonna get into the homecomings and things. So I got my crown. Everybody got their liquor. We're gonna take a shot. And then I want everybody to say their wildest party story. Now, say as much or as little as you want to. And remember, this podcast got an explicit sticker on it. So, feel free to say what you want to. And if we need to cut it later, I might do it. I might not, depending on how froggy I'm feeling that day when I edit this.
So, what if we don't? What if we don't remember?
Ooh, shit. Well, let's name one we do remember. Because I only remember the party story because y'all told me and I saw it on Snapchat the next day. But nonetheless.
Okay, so like.
Oh, we gotta take shots first. Everybody got their
okay. I'm thinking like, I mean, I went to this party during college, but it was a Founders Day party and I was still in school. Does that still count?
That counts. Now everybody get your shot in and you gonna go first since you started, okay?
No, I did not volunteer. I was trying to get clarifications.
Well, I got my crown out already, so I'm ready.
Okay, so this is the thing. I'm a groper, so I'm out of liquor.
Oh, damn. Well, I'll take a double shot for you. Hold on.
Thank y'all. I'm going to sip on my water because it's like, hey.
Okay. I'm a groper.
Cheers to HBCU.
Yes.
And then this is my house shot.
Why did I do that?
Oh yeah, take it from me. I'm gonna make the face.
Okay.
Woo. No, because why did we just do that? Oh my God.
Well, I have had wine and Crown Royal today, and I'm supposed to be back out doing something in the next hour and a half, so we're gonna see how that goes. Anyway.
I need some more juice.
Not no more juice. All right, go ahead, Miss Lady, since you started.
Oh, I really am going first. Oh, okay, so this is a Founders Day party. This is the Kappa's Founders Day party. And basically, you know how sometimes you're just really in the mood to drink. Like, you are just invincible in that moment. That was just one of those nights. Like, once I found tequila, I've been a tequila drinker. This was like junior year. So I was a Jose drinker then because that's all a girl could afford. Okay. So I had some Jose. At the time, I was dating this guy from the Caribbean. So he had just came back from his island. So he had some rum in my trunk. Okay. Got the bottle of Jose. Went to, where did I go? Sonic. Got some orange juice. Got to my girlfriend's house. Made tequila sunrises. Then I was like, oh, I got some rum in the trunk. Let's take some of this Caribbean rum. I ain't never had this before. Took shots of that. Then we had Crown. Took shots of that. Get to the Kappa party. Get to the Kappa party. This is before we get to the party. Okay.
You was pre-gaming correctly. We love it.
So I was a server. So I get to the bar and I must have just got my refund check or something because I had money. So and you know how as a college student with money and you drinking, it just don't go well. So I'm like, I'm gonna tip him real good. So I'm like, let me get a tequila sunrise. I'm like, bet, here go a $20 tip. He like, oh, I got you whenever you come back. I said, say less. So he gave me an extra drink. So I was getting 2 for 1. So that happened like 3 more times. Long story short, I'm recording videos, singing love songs to my boyfriend.
Not a Caribbean man. That's a scam in
That's
itself.
what I was about to say that, but Luke said it first.
Anyways, so I don't even know what's going on anymore. My friend's about to start fighting. One of my friends falls. I basically like black out for a couple minutes, come back to life. I'm crying, calling my boyfriend on the way to the car. Get to the phone, get to the room, go to sleep, wake up, immediately run to the bathroom. I had to be to work at 8 a.m. Like the idiot that I am. I had to drop my car off at 7 a.m.
Oof.
Cried all the way home. Crying. On the phone with my man, like, I'm still drunk. I don't know what's going on. And long story short, called my job, told them, oh, I'm sick. I'll be there in a minute. The flu was going around. The Lord blessed your girl. Told me not to come in because I was working a double. And I slept all day.
Yes.
Baby, talk about an experience.
And I know that kind of sleep too. That sleep, I didn't know that sleep was glorious.
It was great.
I know it was. I'm still mad that you singing love songs to a Caribbean dude, and it's no offense to the people from the islands, but they a different breed down there. We're gonna leave it. Go ahead, Myles.
All Caribbean and African men, listen. If you like me, I like you too. Already.
LOL.
Too funny. Okay, so from my experience when it comes to party, people think that Southern University is like a big party school when it's really not. Like, if you want to have a party, you're gonna have to make it happen yourself. And since I was in a band, I really was at band practice all day, so I wasn't partying like that unless it was the spring semester. So all the cool turn up homecoming stuff, I was in my dorm room, sleep, hungry, and on the phone with my mama, asking her, can she please sneak me a daiquiri or something? But I ain't get real turned until I became an alumni. Like, my first alumni homecoming, it was crunk. Like, I didn't know that the jukes out there was getting free drinks because they had an open bar out there. So it was real cool. And at the end of the night, I thought I was about to fight somebody, but it was all good. But I want to say my best party experience, well, it really wasn't even a party because, like I said, we don't party like that. You just got to do your own kind of thing. So Baton Rouge is only an hour away from New Orleans. And in Louisiana, you get the school off for Mardi Gras. So me and my people, like my freshman year, we went to Mardi Gras, had a good old funky time. I was staying with my homegirl and her mom. So we had dipped off from them. We went on Bourbon Street. It was a lot of underage drinking going on, so excuse us. And I just want to,
do that, but you know,
don't do that. It's a part of the experience, you know. Shout out to all the people who bought the drinks for us and kept it pushing and accepted our monies. So we had this one time where, since we all thought we was 18, we thought we can get like in the strip clubs on Bourbon Street. So we get to the strip clubs. We're like, hey, can we go in? They were like, yeah, but you're gonna have to first finish our drinks first. And we had just bought like fish bowls, and fish bowls, they're like these big 64-ounce kind of drinks. So here we are. Oh my God, here we are on the street, chugging it. Like, we all finished our fish bowls within like 5 minutes. And like I said, that's 64 ounces of straight liquor and some extra juice to make it feel a little fruity. Man, we get to the gate. That man gonna say, oh, y'all need to be 21. We all was cussing at him because we were like, why you ain't tell us that before we started chugging this down? Like, you ain't see us.
Exactly.
So here we are, drunk as a skunk for nothing. It's a Sunday. We have to go to school and class tomorrow. I had an 8 a.m. And we was so drunk that we didn't even want to be there no more. So we was like, well, we got to go home. So that car ride, I'm just glad that I was not driving. Shout out to my crab brother for being the DD, but we was in that back seat, zooted and booted. And I want to shout out to my roommate for coming to the car to help pick me out. Because I was
coming clutch, okay?
Roommates coming clutch. And hear me screaming at the top of my lungs. Look, I'm screaming at the top of my lungs. I'm like, everything that you did to me that I didn't like, I don't care. Happened to my dad. Thank you. And then the next day when we get to class, I didn't know it was like a thing, but since I guess everybody has great times on Sundays, like basically none of my professors were there. So here I am with my sunglasses walking in slow motion, going to class, and nobody's there. So just such a waste of an experience in a day, but I had fun. I had fun. And asked me if I did it again the next year.
I know you did.
Yes,
I know you
most
did.
definitely.
I surely did not. I did it differently. we made sure to class it up a little bit more for the next year.
Oh.
All right, Rumi, go ahead. Tell the people.
I mean, it's gonna be a more recent story. So, it wasn't like a big lavish party, but it was like, you know, after moved to a club with one of my roommates. So one of these clubs in DuPont Circle. I'm not gonna name it here in DC, but
I think I know which one you're talking about. I think
it's one of these clubs that me and my roommate wanted to go to because it was kind of like these two homies like hit us up, they invited us over and whatnot, and it's like an older crowd. So, you know, us, you know, I was legal at the time, but my roommate wasn't. So we had like a little game plan before we got there. Like, okay, we're not gonna pull out our wallet. We're not gonna buy drinks. Like, we're gonna have other people buy us drinks. You know, that kind of night. So we got there probably around 10:30. It stayed open until 2. So like we wanted to be there the whole time and, you know, mingle and be a little messy. But we got there and we were just chilling. We didn't know anybody until those two homies like met us up and stuff like that, and they started buying us drinks. So we're dousing down shots. We're mixing light and dark. Really noticing like these two older guys were really trying to like get us really drowned in liquor, and you know, it was that kind of night. You know, it was a Friday night. Like, you know, we could sleep in the next day and all that stuff. But like halfway through the night, I'm starting to feel sick. And this never happens. Like, I understand we're mixing light and dark, but I have a strong immune system, I would think. But then also too, like, I was just telling my roommate, like, something is off. And I got like very, very sick. Like, I was passing out in the middle of the club. I was going to the bathroom. I was throwing up blood, actually, and all this stuff.
My.
Like, what is going on? So through the night, you know, I'm trying to recover. Okay, we call it a night. One of the guys like drives us back to our place, our dorm, and all that stuff. And they're trying to like make a pass with us, and I'm like, no, sir, I'm sorry. You see, like my roommate was vouching for me. He's like, you see that, you know, he's about to like, he's not feeling well. Like, it was almost like emergency hospital level. Like, oh, he might have alcohol poisoning and all that stuff. But then come to know the next day, like we sleep in all that stuff until like 12:01. We're backtracking all the steps because when alcohol's in my system, I remember everything. I don't even care. I'm like, wow, he actually poisoned me. Like one of these guys like poisoned my drinks. And yeah, and it was a whole conflict. Like it was a lot, and it was a whole confrontation. Like I had to really like, yeah, it was a lot. So not to say that was the worst experience, but that was like also a life lesson too. Like can't trust anybody, obviously strangers, but I was still having a good time regardless. Like I was with my homie. Like my roommate, he's like a ride or die. I'm still best friends with him. He's also from Texas. I think I really vibe with Texas people, Southern people. But yeah, that's like a very like college wild life lesson too. But I was like, wow, I actually got poisoned. Like someone
no.
So yeah.
Oh my god! And it's funny because I was cleaning out my iCloud. So me and Spencer were roommates my freshman year of college. That's how we met.
Don't share too much.
I was cleaning out my iCloud and I found that video from freshman orientation week. You and Kaisa in the car.
Ooh. I know exactly what you're talking about because freshman year.
So I guess my wildest party story. I guess I'll share. Let me see if I can bleep out people's names because I don't want no problems. So it was a Thirsty Thursday. I want to say it was still coldish outside, so it had to be between like September and like February. But it wasn't like DC freezing like snow cold. It was like you just need a hoodie type of cold. So I feel like maybe like it was before it got too cold. Anyway, Thirsty Thursday, as you all know, everybody know what Thirsty Thursday is. You get drunk on Thursday night and still try to wake up on Friday and do what needs to be done. You missing a good time. Anyway, Howard had Thirsty Thursdays. I thought all schools had it, but it is what it is.
We should have had Thirsty Thursday.
I told you, I was in band practice. I don't know. I was being wholesome. While y'all was living your lives, I was being a wholesome young man, playing my music, shaking my tail on the practice field, getting ready for the games. Hey, okay?
That's funny. But yeah, it was a Thirsty Thursday. We was in Jami's room. I'll never forget. We had a friend named Jami. She stayed in the newer dorms on Howard's campus. We was in the dorm rooms. I came over there earlier than the party started, and she was trying to be bartender. So she was mixing up jungle juice and all this shit in a big old, clear tub. Like the tub you put your storage shit in and put in the closet, she was mixing up jungle juice in that. So it wasn't nothing but
good times.
it wasn't nothing but Everclear, some other cheap ass tequila, and a whole bunch of Dollar General brand juices. You know the vibes, and a whole bunch of fruit. So we had red. Okay. We had red. I was sampling because that's how I learned to be a bartender. You got to sample. So I had about 4 full red Solo cups or whatever she was making before the party even started. So I'm already a little, wobbly, clearly. And then the party started, and things get into rotation. It's legal in DC. You can fill in the blanks there. So things get into rotation, and I keep drinking. So by the time I start going fuzzy, was about 8 Solo cups deep, and two rotations deep, right? Because keep in mind, this dorm is about like a quarter the size of my studio apartment. Like it is tiny, and it is at least 25 niggas in here.
Well, those are the best parties.
And so we in here, it's hot. And then she lived on like the 6th floor, so the windows obviously don't open. So all the dorms at Howard is like mini skyscrapers for the most part. So I'm in here wobbling. I'm on her bed, like, and she like, "You good?" I'm like, "I think I'm good. I'm good. I promise I'm good." Next thing I know, I feel something coming up, right? So I'm like, "Oh shit!" So I'm like, "Oh my god!" Everybody clearly sees I'm about to throw up in her bed, and I'm like, "Oh shit!" I'm about to throw up in her bed. I'm not gonna watch TV. So I recompose myself, have about 2 cups of water, and then the party winding down. And so her and my other friend, they had red Solo cups. They took about 2 sips out of them, and they wasn't done drinking. These are people I trusted. I still trusted this. These are people I trust. This was before COVID. Ain't nobody had no diseases, none of that. I'm going to clarify that. It was like, I know. They was like, we're not going to waste this liquor. And I was like, you damn sure not. So I drank their 2 cups too. So now we about 10 red Solo cups in deep, and about 3 rotations in. So at this point, I don't know up and down, right from left. I don't know what's going on.
Right from left.
So we leave the party. We start walking back to the dorm, but it's like a little area on the street. Because she stayed at CHN. So we was outside, and I had done some things that we're gonna bleep out because that. Matter of fact, this is where I'm gonna edit right here, wobbling on the street, about to fall in the middle of oncoming traffic because Howard's in the middle of fucking downtown. So like, out of there. So
I wonder why.
Okay, I was like,
it gets worse. So I called my best friend down here at the time, and I'm like, "Girl, I don't know what the fuck going on. I can't," because Spencer wasn't with me, so I was like, "I don't know how I'm gonna get back to my room. Like, I don't know where the fuck I'm at." And my best friend about 1,500 miles away. So she freaking out on the phone, like, "What the fuck am I supposed to do?" Like, she was like, "You want to tell your mama?" Hell no, don't tell my mama. Somehow me and like one of my other friends that stay in the dorm next to mine, we wobbling back to campus. Howard's campus, it's not big, but it's spread out because it's in the middle of the fucking city. We passed Barnes and Noble, right? There was a Tamar Braxton poster on the wall up high, like outside the Barnes and Noble. Oh no, this part I don't remember, but I woke up, so I finally get back to my dorm. I'm in the bed. Spencer's like, "You okay?" I'm like, "I'm good." Right? I get in the bed. I wake up about noon. Keep in mind, my first class was at 8 a.m. I wake up about noon. My laptop is on the floor. I still got on the clothes from last night. This big ass Tamar Braxton poster that's clearly not meant for nobody's house is sitting in my bed, and I got about 15 missed calls. from my friend down here who was like worried as fuck about me. And then Spencer come in from his class or whatever. He like, you just not waking up? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I go back to sleep. Then wake up, and about this time it's about 4, 5 o'clock. The sun going down again. And my memory is coming in of what the fuck happened last night, and I'm like, oh shit. And then I get a couple of Snapchats, and then the person that I was talking to at the time would not respond to my messages, and I was like, oh shit, I just fucked up. It was a lot. It was a fun time though. And I'm not a big partier at all. That's the crazy part about it. I don't like to party. I don't like people like that. Like I had a panic attack at a club in DC before. I don't like people like that. But when I'm in a comfortable environment, I tend to let loose, and that's the problem. So the moral of the story is know your limits, kids. But sometimes you got to learn the hard way. And luckily, I was around people who were responsible when I learned the hard way.
Man.
Because that right there, it was a good time looking back on it. But I digress.
I'm just really weak at you taking the people property. Like as soon as you said something about a poster, I said, I know he did not take them people poster back in his room. Exactly. And as soon as you said it, I said
he didn't even have the courtesy to put it back.
And I want to let you know, like Howard's Barnes and Noble bookstore is like, it's one side on the main street and the other side is on the alley, right? The side that's in the alley is bricked the fuck up. And it's like a bridge over it. So I had to climb on somebody's railing and hop up there and get that shit to pull it down. It was not in, like, arm's reach. I'm short. It wasn't in arm's reach.
Being Spider-Man.
Listen, I thought I was Miles Morales that day, okay? That was a good time. But, okay, I'm going to ask one more question. Like, what was your coolest experience at your HBCU? Like, what was something that you thought, damn, I got to experience that? That was dope. Like, what was that?
I'll go.
Since you the good clean one out of this group when it comes to partying. Like,
okay. So something that I definitely cherish with me is being that, again, I was in a band and we was able to do a lot of performances that were very kind of iconic as well as like hard for me because it was with people and celebrities that I always looked up to. So one summer, I decided that I wanted to be a counselor for one of our band camps that we was having. Because I went one time when I was 11 and 12, and I said, when I ever make it in this thing, I'm going to be here so I can support these children. And that's what I did. And I had no idea that during that time, our band director was going to also have us doing kind of like mini performances. And one of the performances that we got to do was we performed at Essence Fest with Master P. So I got to meet Master P, the whole No Limit, Lim, and Lil Romeo. I was like, oh my God, look at us out here on this stage. So like, y'all know that movie, like Girls Trip and all that. So when I was watching that movie, I was like, now we was there. Now we was there this whole time, like just on the stage. So I thought that was so just cool. I got to perform at like a Solange party for the NBA All-Star Weekend when I was in New Orleans. I just did a lot of stuff. I'm on the YouTube just shucking and jiving, and I love it. Okay.
What about you, Spencer?
I would say like it was homecoming. So Howard's homecoming was epic every year, and knowing me, I get very involved on campus, and it's always a passion of mine. So I worked like behind the scenes at homecoming, and more importantly, it was during the homecoming football game where I had to like be a liaison and meet up with John Wall's like posse or crew. So John Wall's like famous basketball player. He was rolling up in like a G-Wagon and just throwing money all around. But that was just really cool experience, and just being able to, besides even the homecoming football game, like Yard Fest and some of the other smaller events, I was just more behind the scenes and like seeing how everything works. And I think that's really what like fueled me to be in like TV and film production and be more behind the scenes and like meeting celebrities or just like some, not some common names, but just really being a part of it and being like, ooh, I got my credit. Oh, I got my credentials. Like I could just flash it everywhere. Like, even though I'm a student, and Howard really does a great opportunity of getting students involved in like those kinds of things, but they're kind of like being a little bit more strict and letting the adults take care of it. But yeah, just meeting like John Wall, Lance Gross, Taraji, just like the celebrity names of Howard. That's every year. So yeah.
For sure. What about you, Yasmin?
Pretty much similar experiences. We got to meet some pretty awesome people. We had this thing called Voices That Matter. It's a series, and we basically partnered with a huge book publisher here in Dallas. And she would bring the books of the people she was publishing, and she would bring them to our school. And so, like, I got to meet Ice Cube, and I got to meet Megan Good, her husband. I actually like worked for them like twice, and I got to go to like one of his conferences for free. I got to meet Jill Marie Jones because she would have these like after parties at her mansion, and then like only select students got to go. And well, I usually ended up going.
Big purr.
And we got. I got to meet a certain celebrity that I would not name because I don't support him anymore, but that was really cool in the moment. And there's a bunch of different things. Like, if that picture ever comes to light, my reputation would be ruined. No. Just got to meet a lot of different people. Got to go to a lot of cool events. I was in the same room with Cicely Tyson. I watched her walk past me, and I swear, if I could have just touched her, I probably would have cried. It was just so many different experiences that I wouldn't have had. So those are definitely my highlights, being able to meet so many amazing people that I also look up to. And Keke Palmer sent me a personalized video. Anyone that knows me knows that Keke Palmer is my soulmate. I love Keke Palmer. I've loved her since I was a child. And she came into town, and I actually had to leave because I had to go to my uncle's funeral. And so I couldn't meet her. And my good friend, shout out to Destiny Modesty, got her to record me a video. And Keke Palmer was like, "Hey, Yasmin, like, so sorry you had to leave. We definitely missed you, blah, 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 blah." And then she got me a personalized book from when Keke dropped her book. So, yeah.
I love that for you. Well, child, Howard had a lot of cool experiences. It was always a celebrity running on campus. Trina is gorgeous in person. Carrie Hilson is gorgeous in person. Felicia Rashad pre-drama walking past us was wild. Drake being on campus was wild because everybody went crazy.
Cry.
Homecoming in general, a wild ass time. I guess the coolest thing I got to do was audition for Empire the second season. Like, they had like a gold tour bus. They brought it in the middle of campus. The news was out there. It was like a whole thing. They had a recording studio on the bus. Then they asked us questions on the news, like we was on the news that night and shit. And then I got to go to the Empire premiere party for season 2, which was so lit. I felt like a little celebrity walking red carpets and things. Back in the Gap, Howard also low-key taught me you can't ever leave your house looking a mess because it was always a celebrity or a camera on campus. I shit you not. And so if you leave your room looking a fool, you gonna get caught slipping because they was in it. I kid you not, at least once a week, some news reporter or some celebrity was on campus doing something, and it was always like a special premiere. And then I also remember Obama spoke at graduation our freshman year, and I remember there being snipers and shit posted on top of our dorm. I will never forget that. Cause I had flew out of town like the week before graduation because the semester was over. But I do remember them setting up, and like it was snipers posted on every dorm and campus. Like, it was the wildest shit. Just living in the same vicinity as the president is an interesting experience in general. DC is a vibe. But okay, so thank y'all all so much for joining me. I don't want to hold y'all too long, but I will ask the question: what would you say to a young person thinking about trying to choose between going to a HBCU or a PWI? And I'll go ahead and start off. It doesn't matter where you go as long as you're trying to get an education. I want to start that off. And trust me, I understand college is ridiculously expensive, and if money's the main motive, I get it. But if you would consider it, you have your whole life to be a minority in a lot of ways, and that could be that moment where you feel at home and loved and special. And as much as I hate to say it, there is a certain level of beauty in said struggle. But, nonetheless, you meet a lot of people. It's a networking thing. It's go to an HBCU if you have the opportunity and option. But if you don't, no judgment as long as you're getting your education. But yeah, so convince a young person to go to an HBCU. It could be yours or it could just be an HBCU in general. Like, they down to the wire. They got to have an answer like in 2 days so they can get to packing. What are you telling it?
Can I start?
Go ahead.
I would just say it's all about legacy, because we obviously, none of us would be here. Our HBCUs wouldn't be here without someone else going before us, someone else giving back, someone else being a nobody and then doing something really big that, they came up with an idea and now they're a household name. And I would tell my children that, I want kids. I want a little mini me running around. So I definitely want him or her to go to HBCU and continue that legacy because it's important. I think just being a minority, like Malik said, and also being someone who is just, I don't know, just always looked upon in society, good, bad, or ugly, because we're always recognized in that sense, whatever it is. I think it's very important to make change in the world. I don't want to get too sappy, but just being someone who wants to soak up knowledge and just do better for the world. So yeah, HBCUs ride or die for sure. Absolutely.
Excuse me, y'all. I'm over this crown, but
look, I got a little hot myself. I ain't gonna hold you.
Because the air is off because audio reasons. So and it's a good 92 degrees outside. All right, Myles, go ahead and tell a young person why they should come to an HBCU.
Okay, so again, hold on. The voice is getting cracky. They got to make sure they pay attention to this. But I definitely say education is always important, but it is a beautiful feeling to know that you are in a room where you are not by yourself. Mm-hmm. It's a beautiful feeling knowing that you can walk around a campus and see other people that look like you, maybe from different backgrounds, but y'all all have that one thing in common that all connects you. And so I definitely say consider that when you think about going to a school, whether it's a school that's prestigious, all that extra blah, blah, blah behind the name, just think about that feeling of what it's like to just know that I can be comfortable, I can be who I am, I can be ethnic, how you say it? Ethnic. I can be as ethnic as I want to be and not have to worry and care about it. I can be as country as I want to be. All that.
Mm-hmm. We love that.
Think of that.
Mm. All righty, Yaasameen.
I would definitely agree with all of y'all. I know for a fact that I would not be the woman that I am today if I hadn't gone to HBCU. The person that you become, how you find yourself, the things that you learn, the community that you have is unmatched. I went to predominantly Black schools, moved to Florida, went to predominantly white schools, and moved to Texas and went to another predominantly Black school. And my experiences at predominantly Black schools and being around my own people and being able to connect in the community that you have is something that is completely unmatched. And just being able to like you said, we all have different backgrounds, other things, but there's always something that connects us. There's always to be able to walk out and, I don't know, my bonnet and not look that crazy when we talking about history classes.
You're gonna upset Monique, don't do that.
Listen, or even just the fact that how there was a girl on campus that did hair. There was a girl on campus that did this. It was like the entrepreneurship, just the energy, the vibe is just so unmatched when you're around your people. It's your whole community and you just grow and become. And I love it. It's something that every Black person I feel like should experience for sure. A Black student union doesn't compare to an HBCU. I'm sorry.
I absolutely agree with that because listen, you're right. All of y'all have made some very, very valid points about HBCUs. And it's crazy to me if you talk to somebody who's unaware or has grown up their whole life super sheltered. They're like, I don't want to be around all Black people. First of all, there's a good mixture of all types of people at HBCUs in general. Okay, it's a new white boy on Twitter trying to be a Kappa every other week, but it's Asian people, Mexican people, it's people of all backgrounds. It's just I would say a more accepting, a more family environment, a more homey environment. And then growing up in the South, I don't know about other cities, but everybody around me is either Black and African American, born and raised here. You might look up and find somebody from Louisiana, or they're Latino, specifically Mexican, or white. Going to Howard, it's oh my God, Black people live everywhere around the world. There are Nigerians here. There are people from the Caribbean here. It's the vibe.
Yeah.
They still look like me. We still share the same skin color, but our life experiences are totally different. And it definitely helps you broaden your perspective and get out of your own way in a lot of things. And it's a vibe. We love our HBCUs. They help us become who we are. And if you have the option, definitely go to one or support somebody who goes to one. You know, ain't nothing like a good Cash App or ordering somebody a pizza on the night when they got finals and they got negative dollars in their bank account listed. It's a food, and if you know what I'm saying, if you can cut a check to the HBCU, specifically the school you want to, because shenanigans. But you know, all schools have shenanigans. It's just blown out of proportion because of us. But I digress. But I really appreciate y'all for joining me. This has been the finale. I wanted a little bit educational, a little bit ratchet. Anybody got any final words or final thoughts before I give y'all the opportunity to plug yourselves?
I just want to say I hate being an adult. I don't like it. Paying bills.
Oh my God.
My bank account always dwindling. Rent is a trap. Do not.
Do not.
It's a scam. It's a scam that Todd set up.
Try to buy in for a house. Get a good group of friends. Invest in real estate. Okay, because
listen, I want to be really the ghetto. I don't like which it, is next year, and I'm like, oof.
Yeah,
this credit score needs to jump up.
Checks are still coming in. I'm grateful for that. I'm really grateful because
absolutely
COVID has really changed trajectory.
COVID has shifted the dynamic of everything, and they got the nerve to be charging these kids full tuition prices, and they going to school from their couch.
Could never.
Also, too, people, make sure y'all take care of y'all mental health out here, because that is important. Folks are going back to working in the office when they was working from home all this time, and that transition back into that office space.
People don't know how to act.
People don't.
I'll say that. Delta it was a flight attendant went on the news the other day, and she was like, we've had more cases in the last 6 months of people acting a fool on flights than we ever have in the existence of the fucking organization.
Yeah.
People don't know how to act.
People are stir crazy. They're going crazy.
And the crazy, I don't like to leave my house unless I'm traveling and making money anyway, but I'm still shocked. I leave my house for 2 reasons and 2 reasons alone. Is it a check involved? Or am I going to hop on somebody's flight? Southwest me, please. Listen, Southwest me, please. Alrighty, so if you guys would like to tell the people where to find you, if you have any businesses or projects to promote, now is the time. I will also put those in the description box of the episode too. So, go ahead.
Well, y'all can follow me on Instagram at thousands, the word, with an S at the end, _Myles, MYLES. You can also check out my YouTube channel, which is Myles Tilford, which is my name. I post videos of me in my field as a counselor, as well as some behind the scenes of me doing my photo shoots and going to my bookings. So it's a real good fun time, and we will be back on the grind posting when my editing skills get a little better.
All right, Spencer, go ahead.
Y'all can follow me on the socials. It's all the same username. It's The Skelly Life. So my first name, initial S, and the last name, full name is Kelly. So Skelly. I post just a lot of like authenticity posts, just living life in large, but trying to get more into like what I actually do now. It's a lot of behind the scenes work in TV and film, because I work on a lot of commercials, music videos, documentaries. You probably might hear of or see very soon on the streaming platform. So, but yeah, follow me. I'll follow back. We can have a little kiki.
Give my information.
Listen,
hey, mine does not stop.
We need to talk. Oh, my turn. My bad. I'm so sorry. Follow me on all the socials. They're all the same. Love Yaasameen XO, LOVEYASAMEENXO. I also am an online boutique owner. I sell women's clothing and accessories. That website is www.shop90love.com. SHOPNAZEERAHLOVE.com. I also do a lot of other creative endeavors, social media, photography, editing, retouching. I have a peer space, a lot of projects in the work of multimedia creative as a whole. So yeah.
I know that's right.
Yeah,
Come on.
yeah. Money. We was just at a photo shoot yesterday. Get into it. Yo, Doja Cat. So everybody follow me at Official Malik Music on all social platforms. MalikJohnson.com for all things Malik. Be on the lookout for my new album, A New Day, on all music streaming platforms. If you want to support the podcast, make sure you follow the podcast. Rate it 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. And if you want to donate, I am independent production, so that's in the description below as well. I want to say thank you to our guests today, as well as all the people who have been a part of the podcast this season. It is something I did just to express myself in a different way, and it has been going very, very, very well. And I'm thankful about that. So thanks for all the love and support. I'll tell y'all about the dream I had after we stopped recording. But nonetheless, I'm very grateful. So yeah, all of those things. And until next time, you'll probably be seeing me in a different capacity very, very soon. MalikWorld is doing something different in the fall. Probably from a different zip code too. So be on the lookout for that. But yay. Thank you all so much for watching and listening and supporting. And until next time, be blessed and stay black.
Yes. Period.